A very warm welcome to you from the National Stadium of Japan here in Tokyo. It's Machida Zelvia against Urawa Reds on the final weekend of the J1 100-year Vision League, this special bridge season that's kept our 20 J1 clubs match sharp in the gap between the calendar switch for top-flight football here in Japan. This is an East Zone fixture. Today's teams haven't done enough to be in contention for first place in the East Zone and therefore qualification for the Championship playoff versus the West Zone winner. At Machida, the AFC Champions League elite runners-up, a third, and almost certain to end up there whatever happens this evening. Urawa Reds are fifth currently and could conceivably end up fourth if they win inside 90 minutes. And Yokohama F Mariners beat Tokyo Verdy on Sunday. The chance of qualifying for the AFC Champions League elite next season that was offered by the winning of this J1 100-year Vision Championship has come and gone, unfortunately, for these two. They're two teams on very different trajectories, but a fitting stage here in amidst the fun and games and fireworks in order to end the season on a high and prepare for when J1 restarts for good in August. The teams of Machida Zelvia and Urawa Reds out into muggy conditions in Tokyo, here in the southwest of the metropolis. Since coming up to the top flight for the 2024 season, Machida have failed to beat the Reds at home. This is technically a home fixture for Machida Zelvia. That 2024 fixture ended 2-2. The Reds won the away match 2-0 last year, but Machida Zelvia's 2-1 win in Saitama in the return fixture in early March means they can do the J1 100-year Vision League double over the Reds today and put the seal on a season when they've announced themselves to a global audience, having already, in a sense, conquered Japan over the past couple of years. They've joined Urawa Reds and 7 other clubs as representing Japan in a Champions League final. Although, of course, the Reds will have bragging rights in that regard for some considerable time to come, having reached 4 such finals down the years in their time, winning 3 of them. They have this outsized continental success, Urawa Reds, when set against their domestic trophies. Only once crowned champions of Japan, and that was 20 years ago, Urawa Red Diamonds. Six J1 100-year Vision League fixtures to be played at the National Stadium. This is the 5th of them. We've got 1 more to come on Sunday. The Shimizu West Pulse against Gamba in the West Zone. Always a wonderful occasion. Kukuritsu Day celebrations here at the National Stadium in Tokyo. There are 3 changes for Machida Zelvia today. In defence, Ibrahim Drezovic drops out, replaced by Yuta Nakayama alongside Daichi Okamura and Gen Shoji. Netalabi and Kotaro Hayashi are the other switches in for this last game of the regular season, replacing Futa Takamura and Hokuto Shimada. Tete Yengi remains Go Kurada's first choice striker as his loan spell from the Scottish club Livingston nears its completion. 10 of this team started the AFC Champions League Elite Final, which was a defeat to Al Ahly. Referee Futoshi Nakamura is doing the double today. He took charge of the first meeting between Machida Zelvia and the Reds on 22nd of March, won by Machida in Saitama. VAR duty today, Junpei Ida and Shingo Sakamoto. So 3 changes to the Machida Zelvia starting lineup. Same deal with the Reds team. Tatsuya Tanaka has put out tonight. The back 5 is unchanged though from the one that kept a clean sheet in normal time against FC Tokyo last week. The changes come with Sam Gustafsson in the defensive midfield too. Ryoma Watanabe drops back alongside the Swede to make room for Shoya Nakajima's recall. And up front, Hiro Komori starts for only the 2nd time in the J1 100-year Vision League. He, like Watanabe, has 3 goals in the bridge season, 1 behind Renji Hideno, the Reds' top scorer, who is on the bench today. The rise and rise of Machida Zelvia. Announce themselves as part of the elite, not only at home, but in Asia as a whole. Set to finish ahead of Urawa Reds, who are properly building now for a full-on reset in the new calendar. Incoming new coach as well. Mathieu Scorza has departed during the course of this J1 100-year Vision League. Cho Kui-jae destined to take over. It's Machida Zelvia versus Urawa Reds. Machida technically at home today, but this is a fixture being played at the National Stadium in Tokyo. Match week 18 of the 100-year Vision League. The bridge season in Japan seems to have come and gone in the blink of an eye, really, doesn't it? 6th of February it all started. Both of today's teams got off to a flyer with away wins. Machida at Yokohama F Mariners 3-2. The Reds won by 2-0 at Jeff United. Machida in blue tonight. They spent so much of this campaign as the East Zone's leading challengers to the Kashima Antlers, but understandably really became distracted by their AFC Champions League elite run. Slid away from near the top of the table. The Reds had a horrible run of 7 without a win between mid-March and the end of April. 5 defeats in that sequence. That ended in the removal of Mathieu Scorza as coach, and Tatsuya Tanaka, former legendary player with Urawa Reds, filling the void before a new coach comes in for next season. And it's not signed and a done deal yet, but it is Cho Kui-jae who is on his way to Urawa Reds from Kyoto Sanga. Matthias Savio trying to launch an early attack here for Urawa Reds. Foot in from Gen Shoji, the former Antlers legend. Early possession here with the Reds, playing in white. Sam Gustafsson, who's had injury problems this season, but he's ending this campaign in the starting team. This end of the regular season, a couple of playoff matches to come. Remember, for all of our teams. First against first, 2 West Zone teams and so on. A couple of matches next month, home and away. Naganama is the left-sided fullback. We've got Hirokazu Ishihara on the opposite flank. So the combinations are Naganama and Matthias down the left here for the Reds. Ishihara and Kaneko down the right. Hayashi left-sided wing-back. right side for Go Kurada's team. His extraordinary rise has continued from high school coach via promotion to J1 in his first year with Machida Zelvia, and 2 years in the top flight, all the way to the AFC Champions League final and an Emperor's Cup success last year as well, which has qualified them for AFC Champions League 2 next season. Tatsuya Tanaka, huge player for the Reds back in the 2000s. More recently, the head coach of the club's under-21 team, promoted when Masia Skorza was sacked 3.5 weeks ago. He's had the kind of impact all interim coaches dream about. Won his first 4. The run ended last week with the 0-0 draw with FC Tokyo back in Saitama, which ended in an epic penalty shootout. 10-9, that one finished, but the Reds on the receiving end of it. Neta Lavi, massive in their continental campaign. Lavi middle of the park alongside Hiroyuki MEIJI. Nissim Chibali did something similar for Gamba Osaka last week as well, when Gamba were in the AFC the Champions League 2 final. It's been another really productive season in continental competitions for Japanese teams. Gamba got the better of Saudi opposition in that final, beating Cristiano Ronaldo's Al Nassr. Something that Machida couldn't manage against Al Ahly, who won the main continental competition for the 2nd year in a row. Expanded tournament AFC Champions League Elite for 26-27 as well, announced recently by the AFC, which means more teams involved, and another representative from Japan with the Kyoto Sanga starting in that competition. Super run this, opportunity for the Reds. And Tani down to save from Kaneko. Defender tumbled as well, trying to block off Kaneko as well, which built the right-sided attacker for Urawa Reds. They've begun really sharply, the visitors. Lovely ball over the top. 2 defenders come in to try and stop Kiyomori. You just wonder if there's communication already between that VAR cabin and the referee. Not immediately, it seems. So on we go. He drifted in behind there, Kiyomori. And then Matthias Savio, and Kiyomori has stayed down. Early ball up and over the top here. There's too much room for the Reds to operate in the early stages here. Again, Shoji sliding in alongside Daihachi Okamura there. So just goes to pull the trigger from behind. Shoji makes contact, and understandably Tatsuya Tanaka wonders about the nature of that contact, but referee Futoshi Nakamura saw nothing untoward, and no communication. Kamori, the 25-year-old, who has 3 goals for Urawa Reds, but this is only his 2nd start. He's been off the bench 5 times. Adu Anaiwu started the FC Tokyo match last week, and indeed 8 other fixtures as they try and find a solution up front, Urawa Reds. Lovely effort, which is just wide by Tete Yengi. Instinctive attempt there by the Machida Zelvia striker. Very loose touch there from Yuta Miyamoto. No messing around there from Tete Yengi. 3 goals in the J1 100-year Vision League. First attempt on goal for Machida Zelvia. Spotted Nishikawa. off his line. And there was a little bit of space to hang that ball up and in over the goalkeeper. Here come Machida again. That's Netalavi. There's the cross, which is behind Yengi. The camera, and then Gen Shoji. By Nemito. Gustafsson, half a header away. Nasang-ho, back for Netalavi. Then Shoji. Scooping ball in. Hayashi was forward. Shoji, third year for Machida Zelvia, a rock at the back. It's on those solid foundations that this success has been built. With their explosive promotion from J2, and then the elevation to J1 for 2024, and they were leading J1 for so long in that first season in which they played in the top flight, Machida. And in contention throughout 2025 as well. Extraordinary story of success. MEIJI. The camera. Hayashi. There's the overload. Crossing towards Tete Yengi. Over the camera as well. The follow-up from Eric finds its way into the back of the net, and Machida Zelvia take the lead. Urawa Reds, plenty of possession and a good start of their own, has been squashed now by an opening goal from the Brazilian Eric. 7th of the season. Plenty of room on the left here. Overlapping player does his bit with the cross-in that Urawa Reds can't deal with. They're worried about Tete Yengi and Na, and there's Eric completely unattended to drive home. Deflection on the way through. Off an arm as well. Scores for the first time since the Yokohama F Mariners match week 15. Spectacular start to the season. And for Eric, his goal-scoring form had gone a little bit cold since then, but back on target here. Really open here at the National Stadium in Tokyo. So 6 matches earmarked to be played on the pitch of the National Stadium, home of the Japan national team, who'll play Iceland here next week in a pre-World Cup finals friendly. Shimizu Espos against Gamba to come this Sunday. We've already had FC Tokyo Mariners, Tokyo Verdy against the Reds. Machida Zelvia versus Kashima Antlers, and Frontale against Marinos, played here already. It's been a feature of the J1 fixture list over the last couple of years to have showpiece matches played at the National Stadium. A lovely touch. Free kick, Machida Zelvia. Komari tripping his opponent. Na. Plenty of room again in the middle of the park for Hayashi to spread it. Deflection, takes it just over the top. Dangerous cut inside there by Na Sang-ho. Looking lively. Catches the heel of Kaneko. Get back to do his defensive work. Corner here for Machida Zelvia. Is going to take this kick. Always a threat from set pieces. Bend it into the 6-yard box. Comrie backtracking. Puts it out. It'll be another corner. Very conscientious here in monitoring activities inside that 6-yard box. The referee, penny to say to Yuta Miyamoto there. He's trying to marshal the Reds' defensive work. Some sort of delivery, missed by the first defender. Here's Camera, who picks it up and then loses his footing. Balance there as Comrie brings it away. Matthias, that's a lovely little transition. Now the Reds can maybe break, not quite. Hard working as ever when they don't have the ball. Machida Zelvia, Eric did brilliantly. Kayama drops that in behind Tete Yengi. So scored the goal. And does his defensive work as well. 31 now. Eric Lima at his loan with the Vissel Kobe last season. Nine goals as well for Vissel. For Eric, after he'd spent the previous 2 years here with Machida, having played for 2 years prior to that in China. Really useful player to have in the ranks, Eric. Very experienced and knows Japanese football well. Machida again down the left. Yengi. Do Hayashi any favours with that pass? Better looking move this time. Cross to deal with the situation. Miyamoto again. Pendulum has swung after that really bright start from Urawa Reds. It's Miyamoto and Nemoto in the middle of the back for the Reds. Tested. Just get the break there. Miyamoto gets away with that. Swept forward by Nishikawa. forward by Ishihara. Matthias Savio, ever hard-working, fantastic. The midfield player is Matthias Savio. The 6 years with Kashiwa Reysol. Second year in Saitama with the Reds. Matthias Savio. Quite often the way these J1 sides set up with 3 attacking players, creative attacking players in behind a central striker, it's not that part of the game that's lacking. It's the clinical finishing that's often an issue. Here's Yengi, who's attempted to solve that problem for Machida Zelvia. Tete Yengi, Australian national, has done well to set up Lima for the strike. Now the Reds will try and poke it away. Gustafsson. Just his second start of the J1 100-year Vision League. Off the bench in the last couple of weeks, Sam Gustafsson. But he is important to the system. And fully fit, he's always in the starting 11. Gustafsson, nominally alongside Hayakawa as the defensive screen, but Hayakawa has been dropped in favour of Watanabe, who just retreats a little today in terms of his starting position to allow Nakajima to play in the attacking 3 behind Komori. Here comes Gustafsson. Matthias Savio. Nakajima knows Ishihara. Matthias again. Gonna go there with Gustafsson. Nice ball that by Gustafsson. And then the scuff shot. Good little move that. Again, that's how important the Gustafsson is to them. Instinctive pass to Nakajima. Spins past Mai, puts the Machida midfielder on his backside, and then can't provide the finish. Only his 3rd start, 30-something Shoya Nakajima. It's been used as essentially a backup player over the last few years, Nakajima. Likewise here in this J1 100-year Vision League. Off the bench 7 times this season. A little bit of fire now for the Reds. Matthias, overload on the left. Naganama is forward. Naganama here. Kaneko moved outside him. Naganama again. Nakajima. Shoji. Eric. Can't hold it up. Matthias Savio looking for the gap. Ran away from Takuro Kaneko. And here come the quick counter-attackers of Machida Zelvia. That's really important from Ryoma Watanabe. It's a lovely recovery challenge that to prevent the ball reaching Tete Yengi. Halfway through the first half. Machida Zelvia 1, Urawa Reds 0. Eric with the goal. Destined for a 3rd place finish in the East Zone. Of course, it's the Antlers and FC Tokyo still on the march at the top of the table. The Antlers, the defending J1 champions, steamrolled through this bridge season as well. Toru Aniki's team, who threatened to launch another era of success at the Kashima Soccer Stadium. As we just have a brief breather to see if Matthias Savio is okay. which he is. Gustafsson. Useful run forward as well by Gustafsson. On camera with the cover. Getting into a little bit of territory. No, that run from Gustafsson. Samio tried the flip. Quite come off. That'll be a free kick. So 20 years since Urawa Reds won their single domestic title in Japan. They were top dogs in Japan, mid-2000s. Guido Buchwald, the West Germany World Cup winner, was coach here for a fabulous run of success, although he didn't steer them to their first Champions League win. He'd handed over the reins to Olga Osijek by then. First success came with the J.League Cup 2003. It was a Dutchman in charge in those days, Hans Hoof, but then Guido Buchwald. And 3 wildly successful years. Emperor's Cup win in 2005, and then domestic treble the following year. 06 with the J1, another Emperor's Cup, and the Super Cup. Reds with 63% of the ball here in the first half. And then handed over to Olga Osijek, the German, for that first AFC. A Champions League win against Sepahan. First of their 3 such victories in that competition. The 2 coming more recently against Al Hilal. Machida Zelvia. All the running here. A low attempt there from Eric, who is full of life in the first half. Lovely combination with Na Sang-ho. Na just delays that pass, waits for Eric. The ball isn't sufficiently out from in between his feet there for the attempt. Those other Champions Leagues came in 2017, 2022 for the Reds. Matthias Savio. Could have been tricky for Kosetani. Straight at him though. Hayashi tend to slow it down. This is Neta Labi. High press here from the Reds. Forces the mistake, that'll do. From a visiting point of view, Kosetani certainly in the running for a spot in Japan's World Cup squad, but failed to make it in the end. Hajime Moriyasu named the Japan squad for the forthcoming World Cup finals yesterday. National team will be looking to break through the barrier psychologically, if nothing else, of the first knockout stage. Not number 16, the Japan national team. I think it gives Eric too much to do there. There'll be an extra knockout stage at the forthcoming World Cup. So we're going to a round of 32 at the end of the group stage.
Tani rather signposted that towards Eric. Reds can't do anything productive with the intervention, and Machida Zelvia will again try and build from the back. Yengi. Na Sang-ho. Shoji. Netalavi. Again, dropping into that hole, just shy of the front players. Netalavi, a camera. Shoji to start the recycle of possession. Hayashi up for Tete Yengi. Now Sang-ho. Showed too much of that to Ryoma Watanabe. Reds steal possession. Gustafsson. Miyamoto. Yengi puts pressure on him. Nemito. Nice idea, cut out by Okamura. Here's Eric. Shoji tripped. Distinguished international player, mentioning the Champions League, a success for Japanese clubs, and indeed Machida Zelvia. Shoji won the AFC Champions League with the Antlers in 2018, having been crowned champion. Kashima Antlers' last win before last season in J1 in 2016. And brought all that experience to bear by captaining Machida Zelvia to the Emperor's Cup crown last season. Na Sang-ho now with this Machida Zelvia free kick. Safely defended. Second ball is what it's all about now. Lavi, calming touch again. Hayashi will send it back to Koseitani. Nemito has managed to head that against Yengi. Forced all the way back. It's a bit of work for Ishira to do here. And now Sang-ho was alert. Netalavi.
It's a good challenge from Kaneko. Sam Gustafsson, maybe to get the Reds moving. Matthias Savio. Komari up ahead, try to pull it back there to Watanabe. And Matthias Savio still with it. Well played, Netalavi. Ishiara. Tete Yengi, 1m97, has such physical presence about him. He's ended up starting a move that's going to be continued here with a cross from the right side from the camera. Couldn't feed it into a teammate. But Yengi, they're getting back to do his bit. Kotaro Hayashi here to take the throw in for Machida. Able to get a flick. Well, they are with Nakamura. He just couldn't direct it, and the Reds had enough bodies there just to avert any kind of danger. Whether it's free kicks, corner kicks, throw-ins, they are that kind of team at Machida Zelvia, who work on the basics really well. 7 victories, 8 draws. It's 8 penalty shootouts that Machida Zelvia have been involved in this season, including last week. Both of these teams, penalty shootout defeats last week. Reds in that marathon session against FC Tokyo. Machida Zelvia, after a 1-1 draw with Kawasaki Frontale, lost 5-4 in the penalty competition. One of 3 defeats they've suffered in that fashion. Gaining 2 points on 5 occasions for a shootout win. Lost just twice inside 90 minutes over the course of this campaign. It's impressive going, really, with the balancing act they had to do with AFC Champions League commitments, which started just after the opening match day of the 100-year Vision League, when they were involved in back end of the group stage, from which they qualified, obviously. Beat Chinese teams 2-0 away at the Shanghai Shenhua, and then home against Chengdu Rongcheng. Header is over the top as the Reds get the ball out wide and try and use the Komari. Cross came from Ishiara. But in the knockout stages, Machida Zelvia got past Gang Won of Korea, and then it was off to Jeddah for the centralised final stage, where they really demonstrated the extent to which they can be considered a tournament team. Beat Al Ittihad and Shabab Al Ahly from Dubai, both by a 1-0 in the quarter and semis respectively, and then lost a very tight final 1-0 to Al Ahly. Only 90-minute J1 100-year Vision League defeats at home, both by 3-0 against the Antlers on match week 7, and then FC Tokyo on match week 11. And that disastrous run under Maciej Skorza, which put paid to his latest stint as the Reds coach, incorporated defeats at Tokyo Verdy, Kawasaki Frontale, and the Antlers beaten at home by Machida and the Marinos, and then Tatsuya Tanaka took over. 4 wins on the spin against Kawasaki Frontale, Jeff United. Away at Raysol and Mito Hollyhock. Matthias Savio on the ball now, scored in that win over Frontale. Here's Watanabe. Cross from Ishiara. 2 at the far side. And the header from Naganuma, well saved by Tani. Did everything right, headed it across goal and down low. Goalkeeper there to save. Threatening to end the first half on top here. Watanabe with the ball in. Some loose defensive touches from Machida Zelvia, most unlike them. Naganuma stayed forward. Watanabe. Matthias Savio. Nakajima. Gustafsson. Nakajima again. And Matthias Savio. It was a legitimate attempt on goal there from Matthias Savio. Hasn't scored in the J1 100-year Vision League. Yoichi Naganuma, the left back, thought he'd done enough there. No goal since last August, and 4-2 defeat at Kashiwa Raysol for the Reds defender. In fact, his only league goal. This is 49th appearance today for the Reds. Then Shoji. Nakamura. Eric dispossessed. Naganuma. Reds just with extra life about them here. Kaneko there. Can't latch onto the pass forward. He'd made the run. The pass was in behind him though. Last 5 minutes of the first half at the National Stadium in Tokyo. Machida Zelvia 1, Urawa Reds 0. It's the only Friday match on this last match day of the bridge season. Five fixtures tomorrow, and then the regular season wraps up on Sunday. In the East Zone, Kashima Antlers FC Tokyo. What a fixture that is to round off the East Zone. Couldn't have planned it better. The Antlers have done enough. It's still first against second on the final match day. Lovely stuff from Eric. Machida Zelvia is seeking out a second goal, but for a better assist, might have had one as well. Again, Shoji. Clip over the top. Tete Yengi there. Had a player retreating from an offside position in Eric, which might well have complicated that move. Had Yenge done something more productive, but this was superb from Eric Lima to dispossess Kenton Emato. Hirokazu Ishiara. Good run that from the right back. But Machida just upping their defensive game and required pockets of pressure from both teams in bursts in this half. And it's Machida Zelvia leading.
Kashiwa Reysol against Jeff United. Also in the East Zone comes tomorrow. Tokyo Verdy, Yokohama F Mariners, Mito Hollyhock against Kawasaki Frontale likewise. Into Sunday, Sanfrecce, Nagoya Grampus, Avispa Fukuoka, Vissel Kobe, Kyoto Sanga versus Fifaru Nagasaki, Vajano Okayama, Cerezo Osaka, and then here at the National Stadium, Shimizu against Gamba Osaka on Sunday. Completes the West Zone programme. Good ball in, and they've got an overload. Right-hand side, Urawa Reds. Second phase, where it might all happen, not if Watanabe can't control the ball. Neta Lavi, oh, really well played again, Neta Lavi. Such an important role he fulfills for Machida Zelvia. And then we've got Tete Yengi. He's nudging it to Eric Lima. And that's an acute foul in the circumstances, just to stop Machida Zelvia roaring forward, as is their wont. But Tete Yengi, such a shrewd acquisition for this bridge season. Room for Hayashi. 3 in the box here for Machida Zelvia. Delivery needed to be a little bit better. Mattia Savio able to hold it up as we near the extra minute. The end of the extra minute at the end of the first half here. Perhaps chance for one more attack from someone. And it's going to be Urawa Reds. Nothing doing. Maybe with Eric. Gets a little bit tangled up there. Mattia Savio keeps the ball in play, and on we go. Pass isn't good. Intervention, and the ball finds Tete Yengi here. Draws the foul, uses that formidable frame to protect possession. Force the match's first yellow card, shown to Yuichi Naganuma. Well, pace perhaps not the biggest weapon that Yengi has about him, but his ability to hold it up kind of counteracts that. Naganuma is booked here as we push into further added on time here. Yuta Nakayama has taken charge of proceedings with this free kick. Na Sang-ho there as well. This certain to be the last activity of the first half at the National Stadium. Na and Nakayama just debating on how exactly this is going to go for Machida Zelvia. It's Yuta Nakayama! Nice attempt, just a little too high. The defender who has been on the score sheet this season and able to get another there. But Machida Zelvia are leading at half-time over Urawa Red Diamonds. Their top scorer, Eric Lima, has added a 7th goal of the season. And that's the score at half-time, 1-0. Machida Zelvia destined to finish 3rd in the East Zone table. And the Reds, after their 4-match winning run, came to an end last week.
are playing catch-up here at the National Stadium in Tokyo. A bright and enterprising first half, plenty of attacking moves, plenty of attempts, and the Reds had chances but were unable to convert. Half-time, Machida Zelvia 1, Urawa Reds here in Tokyo.
J リーグ学年構想リーグを熱くサポートいたします。 に動いた根本、その頭を狙った根本から平
8月2026-27明治安田 J リーグいよいよ開幕。新たなシーズンとなる2026-27明治安田 J リーグは2月開幕から8月開幕へ。ウィンターブレイクを挟み来年6月まで続く。シーズン以降により猛暑でのパフォーマンス低下、 ACL シーズンとのズレ、欧州の移籍マーケットとのズレなどの課題を解決。シーズンカレンダーを世界基準に合わせる。これは J リーグが世界の舞台で戦っていくための意思表明である。この国の選手たちが J リーグや世界で活躍し、世界中のプレーヤーが J リーグを目指し躍動する。そんな世界からも選ばれるリーグとなるためのさらなる挑戦だ。さあ新しい J リーグへ。2026年8月、日本サッカーの未来を書き換える旅が始まる。
6月13日 MUFG 国立で17年ぶりに J リーグオールスターダゾーンカップ開催。1200万票を超えるファンサポーター投票などで選ばれた選手たちで構成されるドリームチームが全7試合のワンデートーナメントで激突。さらにスペシャルライブや全国各地のスタジアムグルメ、マスコットが大集合、シールもプレゼント。チケット情報は J リーグオールスターチケットで検索。
Welcome back to the National Stadium in Tokyo. The players back out onto the field ahead of the second half. Thumbs up indeed from Eric Lima, Machida Zelvia's top scorer in the J1 100-year Vision League. Has added another today, the only goal thus far, which separates his team Machida Zelvia from Urawa Reds, driven home in the 10th minute as they look to secure and lock down third place in the East Zone and continue the run of form after elevation to the top flight, which has proved that they're no flash in the pan. They have solid foundations, this club, against one of the fallen giants. It's not too unfair to categorise Urawa Reds as. It's all about the big reset now, with a new coach coming in ahead of the 2026-27 J1 campaign. Second half underway here. Machida Zelvia 1, Urawa Reds 0. Really entertaining first half. 19 shots all in. Only one of them went in from Eric. 5 on target from 9 attempted. Machida Zelvia 5 on target from 10 attempted from Urawa Reds, a team who went through 2025 with their top scorer Ryoma Watanabe scoring just once in the second half of the season, as they continue to look for a striking solution. That's Takuro Kaneko, caught in the opening moments of this second half. Komori with one sight of goal. He's leading the line for the Reds today, but was shut out effectively by the ever tough back line of Machida Zelvia. Never have expected to get the role full-time. Tatsuya Tanaka, Cho Kui-jae, it's an open secret in Japanese football, will be the man to take over, departing Kyoto Sanga after 5 wonderfully successful years, cup final appearances. He's got them into FC Champions League elite, but he won't be there for that campaign. The tough taskmaster Korean coach who's heading to Saitama. No changes at the break here. One appearance at the National Stadium Kukuritsu Day fixtures each for Machida Zelvia and Urawa Reds in 2026. Both lost. Machida defeated by Kashima Antlers the 18th of March, 3-0. The Reds were beaten by Tokyo Verdy 4 days before that Machida Zelvia Antlers match-up. Neither side has had to travel far. Machida Zelvia, a club formed as recently as 1989, initially played only at regional or the level of the prefecture. It became a multi-sport club in 2003. It's a Lavi shoots. Eric got a connection on the way through. I think it was on its way, wasn't it, that initial attempt? It's perhaps been diverted away by Kenta Nemoto. It was a whip on that from Neta Lavi. It's
not his strength. They don't look to him to score goals. Lavi, 2 years of league football with Machida Zelvia, and no J1 goal yet. This is his 19th appearance. Na Sang-ho. Nice curl on that. Na, 3 goals for him in 2026. Again, the inventive use of the set piece. It was slow to pick up the threat provided by Na Sang-ho. It was very lively in that first half. Samuel Gustafsson. Machida Zelvia took their first title in 2008. That was in the Kanto League, the regional league. So that got them into the Japan National Football League and added the name Zelvia to the name of the city, which is Machida. Effectively a region of the Tokyo metropolis, city of Machida. Goalkeeper collects that. Zelvia being a portmanteau of Zelkova, Machida city's official tree, and salvia, the official flower. Bounced around Japan Football League because they didn't have a suitable ground until they finished 3rd in 2011 and were promoted to J2. That was in 2012. Relegated back, bounced back up. Finally returning to J2 in 2015. That's where they stayed until their promotion at the end of 2023. That's a big investment in the meantime as well, which always helps. Working it around the back line. Again, high press from Machida Zelvia. Ganama tried the spin around. Matthias Savio. Gustafsson. Matthias Savio moving forward as well. Nakajima clips it in there to Gustafsson. Oh, good challenges. Gustafsson threatened to pull the trigger. A couple of deflections which are kind there to Machida Zelvia. Na Sang-ho, that's Neta Lavi, touch off from Eric. Camera might be an outlet here. Wide right, Tete Yenge wants it, Tete Yenge gets it. And Shisaku Nishikawa blocks the shot. Really dangerous break from deep once again from Machida Zelvia. Now Komori is the target, and Kosei Tani very, very calm in the circumstances. Okamura. Nakamura. Eric. Genshoji. Invites Tete Yenge to chase this down. Kenta Nemoto there. Played every minute of this bridge season. Kenta Nemoto, the middle at the back for Urawa Reds. As we see again, Tete Yenge's attempt. Subs at the ready here for Machida Zelvia. So Keiya Sento, Yuki Soma, Eric is one of the players to be withdrawn. So he's done his bit for the regular season. He's going to end it as their top scorer as well. Big players in the AFC Champions League elite run. These two switching around, the two in behind Tete Yengi. Sento and Sommer. Okay, Sento, the 31-year-old, off the bench for the 8th time this season. And Yuki Sommer, who has 4 goals. Played every minute of the AFC Champions League Elite final for Na in that match. Yuki Sommer. Nemito beneath the throw. Second one to defend as well. Almost breaks foot on camera. Able to set it up. Mai. First touch for Sommer. Sommer's ball in. Dealt with. Gustafsson needs an outlet. Has to go backwards. Oh, good pressure that from Machida Zelvia. Sommer involved straight away round the outside. Sommer. That's good full-back play. Tricky player, very much in the same mould as Na Sang-ho. Yuki Sommer. Spent so long with Nagoya Grampus. Played briefly as well in Portugal as well with Casapia, did Sommer before returning to Japan for the 2024 season. She started with the Nagoya Grampus, made an immediate switch to Machida Zelvia for that first campaign in the top flight. Gustafsson. Gustafsson tripped. Nice movement. Matthias Savio on the charge here. Kaneko feeds it across. Again, Shoji stationed there for Machida Zelvia. The Reds trying to pick it up. Ball into Komori, gets it back from Matthias Savio. There's the feint from Komori. Drives it across, the chance had gone. Tried that first feint, he knows that was the opportunity. Do have a corner. It could have been so much more. Nice interplay though. Matthias Savio and Shiro Komori. So resolute at the back, Machida Zelvia yet again. Matthias Savio. There's the cross. Gustafsson just tried to feed it on, help it on. Kaneko sent the ball in. It results in nothing because there was an offside. Again, the discipline of Machida Zelvia defensively is evident. Kurada would have expected them to have conceded less goals in this season, but just worth mentioning how little jeopardy, in a sense, there's been, because no movement between J2 and J1, no relegation and promotion in this bridge season. So they knew they were going to face a tough challenge in deposing the Antlers, did Machida Zelvia. And have perhaps been a little bit more gung-ho than we're used to seeing in regular J1 seasons since their elevation to the top flight. Matias Savio. Oof, well played. Okamura. He's dropped to his knees. And provided the barrier. Nakajima. Gustafsson. The Japan national team play their final warm-up match before the forthcoming World Cup week on Sunday. Here against Iceland, it's Netherlands, Tunisia and Sweden in the World Cup finals for Hajime Moriyasu's team. Opening fixture against the Dutch in Arlington. Just a little over 3 weeks away now. Kaneko swept it up and over. Kamori couldn't hold the ball up. Tani sweeps it forward. There's room for Machida Zelvia to build. Netalavi. Here's Sommer. Lavi again. Mai. That's Sento. Nakamura. Shoji. Big long diagonal. Pinpoint as well for Kotaro Hayashi. Camera. Shoji. Shoji well forward here. Back for Tete Yengi. Tries the give and go there with Sento. Turn and shot blocked by the defender. Keiya Sento. The Machida Zelvia replacement forces the corner. Tatsuya Tanaka just delaying a replacement for the time being, it seems. Outswinger this time. The big guns up from the back, but couldn't use them. We're going to see Yusuke Matsuo replacing Hiro Komori. He's had little joy up there, really. Komori, Matsuo, where he can play anywhere in attacking positions. Going to be the main striker here. Still with half an hour to play, Matsuo. Dropped out of the team today. Nothing doing again from Urawa Reds. Sommer. Back with Tani. Shoji. Lavi. Yengi, that room, intelligent centre-forward play again from Tete Yengi. Just dropping back, retreating, and enabling Sento to launch the attack. Ball in from Nakamura. It's stretched a bit, but do clear it. Sento. Shoji. Hayashi. And actually it suits Machida Zelvia just to hold things up, slow it down. Force Urawa Reds into creating something and just adventuring something a little bit more in terms of challenging Machida Zelvia when they have the ball. Reds could slip to 6th if they go on to lose today, and Kawasaki Frontale have any kind of result against Mito Hollyhot on Sunday. Be Fajano Akayama, Gamba or Shimizu S-Pulse in the playoffs. Final positioning playoffs therefore for Urawa Reds, depending on how those other teams fare over the course of the weekend. Win today for Machida Zelvia takes them to 37 points, level with FC Tokyo, who are at the Antlers tomorrow. 9 points ahead of 4th place Tokyo Verdy. Cerezo, Osaka, likely playoff opponents for Machida Zelvia. Here goes Yengi. Sommer, his outlet on the left. Gets it back. It's Gustafsson with the inadvertent giveaway of possession there. Nakayama. This looks promising for Urawa Reds. Matthias Savio. Back for Matsua. Gustafsson. Matthias Savio again. Switches it. This is Ishiara. Kaneko. Nothing doing. Where's that spark? Urawa Reds sadly lacking, and they threaten to be exposed again as Keiya Sento holds it up. Itaka Nakamura, Neta Lavi. Again, just that little switch in pace from Machida Zelvia have just dialed it down a bit. We're into control mode now, rather than push on and dominate. The camera, Lavi. Turn inside, knows when to play the pass as well. Here's Yuki Sommer, taking on the fullback. Sommer doing really well. And finding Yengi as well with the cross. Lovely move from Machida Zelvia. Okay, it doesn't get the finish it perhaps deserved, but another reminder of the fluidity and their ability to step it up when in the attacking third. Tete Yengi, of course, to face his older brother Cassini, who plays over at Cerezo in the playoffs. Remarkable. The 2026, the 25-year-old Australian has had since joining Machida Zelvia. Briefly of Northampton Town in League Two. Tete Yengi in England. And then moved on January 2024 to Livingston. Cross from one wing to the other. Savio. Pass from Nemoto. Gustafsson, better of lining up the shot. Ishiara, shut down by the backtracking Sommer. Possession there for Urawa Reds. Where's the end product? Still got the team's top scorer on the bench, the Reds, Renji Hideno. Sticking right now, the personnel he started with, the exception of Matsuo, who's come in for Komori. So the Reds threaten again, and that's a really disappointing ball across. Just doesn't get anything on that, really. But here we go, three-pronged switch. So Junpei Ayakawa, the aforementioned top scorer, Renji Hideno and Adu Anaiwu are going to be introduced here, just to add to Yusuke Matsuo. This is Matsuo. Yengi. Sommer. This is looking good. Yengi through for Sommer. Does have a follow-up chance to send the ball across. All very controlled, isn't it, from Machida Zelvia. To play their way out of trouble deep within their own half here. It's Watanabe who is able to do that. Watanabe sends Matthias Savio away. Again, Shoji across to try and cover. Well, you can see what he's trying there. The attempted bend around the last defender. But he's annoyed with himself for that. And this might be the opportunity for Tatsuya Tanaka, yeah, to get three replacements on. So Takaro Kaneko out, Adu Anaiwu in, and Matthias Savio and Shoya Nakajima as well. So that's the front four switched around. But they have got the team's top scorer in the 22-year-old Renji Hideno. Off the bench for the sixth time, 4 in 9 starts. Hideno, Anaiwu ended up out of the team. He's made 9 starts, hasn't scored this season. Junpei Hayakawa scored in the win at the Marinos off the bench for the 8th time, the 20-year-old. So fluid interchanging of positions amongst that front four. I wonder if Matsuo is going to play a little deeper. Indeed, it's Anaiwu who's gone up to play as the lone striker. Anaiwu played against FC Tokyo last week. He started against them. 30 years of age, back in Japan. Adu Anaiwu, 15 shots for Machida Zelvia, 13 for the Reds, having played in Germany and France. Shoji. camera. They are from Onaiwu. That's Gustafsson feeding it through. And trying to be that attacking prompt for the Reds. Gustafsson. There he is again. Ishiara lofts it. Matsuo. Miyamoto there. Gustafsson, well read. Really well read by Naganuma, who bites off more than he can chew in the end. So the Reds have it. Matsuo out wide. Little scooper there into Watanabe. Shoji stood firm and tall. Naganuma back for Matsuo. Built it away. Watanabe. Got an outlet in Hayakawa. It's come to play on the right. Matsuo. Slips it wide for Naganuma. Matsuo again. Watanabe in room. And Matsuo spotted the gap. Watanabe now. Back onto his left foot. Well, Hiroyuki Mai didn't take the bait there and stood firm and tall. That means Urawa Reds have to push back and recycle it. Inside the last 15 minutes of the National Stadium. Machida Zelvia set to end the regular season. The J1 100-year Vision League on a winning note. Hirokazu Ishiara. Nakayama does well. And he's able to not just belt it away, but find Tete Yengi. And it's Keiya Sento now for Machida Zelvia. Switches it to Yuki Soma, the other substitute. He'll wait for support. Soma quite have enough whip or bend on that to attach it to Yengi far side. Soma again overcompensates that time, goes a little heavier to find Sento. And he tries to nod it back. Slotted in effortlessly into this system. Now Eric and Na Sang-ho have been withdrawn. Keiya Sento and Yuki Soma, as Tete Yengi remains the figurehead. Scored in the Scottish Challenge Cup final, did Yengi for Livingston, a 5-0 win over Queen's Park at the end of 24-25. And in the second leg of the Premiership playoff final, which got them promotion back to the top flight. Useful Tete Yengi, just for his goal scoring, but for the way it fits into the team ethic as well. Here's the corner. The Reds have to deal with the second phase. Netalavi. Sento. Gustafsson. A little bit late there. Their bounce, didn't they, Reds, after Maciej Skorza was removed. There's 4 in a row, but season threatening to end on a rather underwhelming note. Defending this free kick. There is still the 1 goal in it. Machida Zelvia will rue missed chances. It's just that Eric Lima strike. 10 minutes in here. That separates the teams, and I'm afraid Yuki Soma won't be testing Shusaku Nishikawa with efforts from that kind of range, or not with that kind of technique. Jara tried to spin it on. That's Neta Lavi. Reds have it. Matsuo through the middle. They'll wait for support to arrive. Matsuo can't do it all on his own. But the challenge was not good. So it will be a Urawa Reds free kick here. Junpei Hayakawa has come across to take it here. Hayakawa feeds it across, goalkeeper out. They're caught in no man's land, really. They're panicking a bit here. Now then, the referee waits to see how that attack will play out. Well, he's saying that the arms were up and not adjusting the obstacle, essentially. Arms out, that means you're sort of expanding the body shape. Clear signal there from Futoshi Nakamura that wasn't the case here. Oof. Well, that arm, it's his right arm, isn't it, of Fayashi. Now, the moment the ball struck his hand, the butterflies will have started. So they will be adamant that this deserves a penalty, Urawa Reds. There's certainly communication between Futoshi Nakamura, Junpei Ito and Shingo Sakamoto. Well, the arm is away from the body there. He just pulls it down immediately. Seemed to be the interpretation of the referee, his hand signals to Urawa Reds, who were complaining that he thought, the referee that is, that the arms were tight into the body. I'm not entirely sure they were. So Tatsuya Tanaka now will hope that VAR gets involved and overturns the decision to play on into a penalty. So there's some extra VAR theatre. He's not even being called across here, so no handball. And disappointment for the Reds and Tatsuya Tanaka. From the referee's point of view, he's looking at straight on. The arm, I suppose, doesn't come away from the body. It's the angle of the ball in. More substitutions for Machida Zelvia. Ryohei Shirasaki, Shota Fujio, the eternal stand-in striker, replaces Tete Yengi. And Lavi's earned a breather. Perhaps got away with that one. Go Kurida and Machida Zelvia. As they close in, winning end to the season. Not if the Reds can help it. That's Gustafsson out for Kai Shibato is on loan at Machida Zelvia in 2024, scored for them in 17 appearances, debut season in the top flight. Shibato hasn't scored in the J1 100-year Vision League for the Reds. Off the bench for the 4th time. (44,000), nearly 45,000 in attendance here International Stadium, which holds just shy of 70,000. It's a fantastic arena for sport, built, of course, for the Tokyo Olympics, which, as we know, didn't go as planned. And the scene of Machida Zelvia's Emperor's Cup triumph, their first piece of domestic silverware late last year against Vissel Kobe. Fujio has fed it wide. A couple of the replacements in the course of this second half. Most recently, Shota Fujio plus Yuki Soma scored the goals on this pitch that defeated Vissel Kobe 3-1 in that Emperor's Cup showdown. Ball over for Onaiwu is too heavy. Shota Fujio scored 2 in that final. Soma with the other one. Fujio, single goal. 4 starts off the bench 10 times in the 100-year Vision League. The goal came against the Marinos in Matchweek 15. Here he is, Shota Fujio. Soma. Inside the last 5 minutes here. Well played by Mai, able to take it on. Where's the urgency from Urawa Reds? Machida Zelvia, quick to defend and get their bodies back at their defensive stations. Shirasaki backtracking, full of running as one of the substitutes for Go Kurida. Ishiara, Watanabe. Watanabe, almost an ever-present. He is as mainstay as it gets with Urawa Reds. Ryoma Watanabe. He's been unable to drive his team. Wearing the captain's armband today. Drive his team to a goal. Potential points. Well, not able to launch the counter. Foul. Shibato. Just come on, Kai Shibato. Useful squad player, Shibato's work rate that convinced Go Kurida to recruit him to the Machida Zelvia project for that first year in the top division. There's again Shoji. Naiwu. Matsuo tried the shot, breaks for Naganama. Plenty of white shirts forward here. Chances to attack are running out now for Urawa Reds. Going to be able to clear it
Can't get the ball up though to Shota Fujio. But since coming to the top flight, we're looking now at season finishes of third in 2024, sixth last year, third again, J1 100-year Vision League. Quite remarkable for the Machida Zelvia. I don't know, the top scorers are not going to be doing much damage from wide right there. And Urawa Reds potentially slipping to a finish of sixth in the J1 100-year Vision League. Yoichi Naganama, that's a good ball. And Naiwu, super challenge that by Okamura. Wonderful defending. Alert as we hit the 90-minute marker at the back, Machida Zelvia. No nonsense. Daichi Okamura. It had to be well-timed, and indeed was well-timed. And Naiwu with the run. Just a little bit of hope at the end here. Junpei Hyakwa will take the corner here for Urawa Reds. We're going to have 5 extra minutes. Outswinger, missed by Shoji. Second ball one. And away they come here with Vikaya Sento. No one's racing up. Too much of a hurry to support him. And that means it'll be defensive mode reverted to here for Machida Zelvia. Reds, who were 7th at the end of the 2025 J1 season. Naiwu loses his footing, but able to gain it pretty quickly, and then goes for the shot, which could have been more troublesome. There'd been a different kind of pitch on that. And a shot away. It's taken him a while to do a Naiwu. 2 years in south of France with Toulouse, then he switched to Auxerre, into Bundesliga 2 with Magdeburg before back to Japan, made the journey back to Japan for the start of this year. Would have been the occasion to score his first J1 100-year Vision League goal there, but nothing doing. Ishiara. Miyamoto. So Naiwu, a bit between his teeth now. That's more than he can chew. There's that transition again. And Kaya Sento. So attack-minded and direct. Tried to just pump the ball into space and then backed himself to win the sprint. Urawa Reds inflicted on Machida Zelvia the club's worst ever defeat, 7-1 in an Emperor's Cup match 9 years ago. Best part of a decade on, and look how times have changed. There goes Sento. Attempts Nemoto across, who read that well, Kenta Nemoto. Yuichi Naganama. The obvious outlet here, Hirokazu Ishiara. Hayakawa, no. Defensive work too good again by Machida Zelvia. He's ended on the bench, Eric Lima. But his goal threatens to steer Machida Zelvia to a winning send-off in the regular season of the J1 100-year Vision League, and they keep them in great shape for the start of the next campaign. Of course, we've got the playoff matches to go as well, and an overall finish of third will be hugely creditable again for Go Kurida. Naiwu got up, break for Hidano, but the Reds still have it. Hayakawa, Ishiara. There's the bent-in cross, and Naiwu just shackled effectively again by Gen Shoji. It's just come to life. Almost too little, too late for Urawa Reds. A substitute for Hiro Komori, but a reminder again of Gen Shoji's strength and value to Machida Zelvia, with a defending of presence again and intelligence just to block off Radua Naiwu. We're into the last 30 seconds now as Machida Zelvia get the ball down into the corner with Shota Fujio, who is going to tempt the contact and then look for the free kick. Not going to get it. Another surge as we go up to Naiwu again, but back it comes to Machida Zelvia, and once again a shot of Fujio, still going. Fujio almost put the cherry on top with a terrific break. The substitute, full of running, full of energy, full of vigour, but couldn't quite provide the finish. It doesn't matter, because Eric Lima, who ends the J1 100-year Vision League as Machida Zelvia's top scorer, got the goal fittingly that ended their season on a winning note, ahead of the playoff matches where they're likely to face Cerezo Osaka. It was a hard-fought victory in the end. The Reds lose their bounce under the new coach, Tatsuya Tanaka. And they are beaten in the last two matches of the season, having won in each of his first four in charge after replacing Masaie Scorza. But another campaign in the Japanese top flight of real quality from Machida Zelvia. The AFC Champions League elite runners-up will end third in the East Zone after a 1-0 win over Urawa Reds at the National Stadium in Tokyo. So that's kept everyone sharp and shipshape before J1 starts again. An ingenious way of keeping everyone involved by the JFA and the football authorities here. The bridge season, which will be an interesting footnote in the annals of J1 history. Machida Zelvia will return bright and breezy and be challenging for all the top honours again ahead of the 26-27 season. Urawa Reds, a new era is going to be starting for them with the incoming Korean coach, known for being a disciplinarian, Cho from Kyoto Saga. He's going to shake this club up as they desperately try to get back up amongst the elite and fighting for honours, crucially. So 7th last year in J1, potential finish of 6th now, as they'll go into the playoff, likely to play for 6th, assuming Kawasaki Frontale get any kind of result against Mito Hollyhock on Sunday. Urawa Reds, but maybe Coach Cho can restore them to former glories. 2 decades since they won their one and only title. In the mid-2010s, third on a couple of occasions, runners-up on a couple of occasions, but quite far off that level right now. It'll be an interesting summer. On the penultimate day of Kokuritsu Day, fixtures here. Shimizu S Pulse, Gamba, Osaka at the weekend. Here's goal scorer Eric.
ありがとうございます。 見事な先制ゴールでしたけれども、いい位置で待ち構えていて思い切り振りました。シーンどう振り返りますか？
Um lance ali, né, que especial ali, que você fez o gol ali, aquele momento do gol ali, como é que foi? O que você pensou?
Primeiramente eu quero agradecer a Deus pela oportunidade de estar aqui, né, nesse estádio maravilhoso, e a todos os fãs de Machida, aos fãs de Urawa também que fizeram uma linda festa, e minha família que está aqui hoje, a minha esposa e os meus filhos.